Okay, so let's jump right in. We're going to be talking about Andy Cohen today and Brandy Glanville, and we'll cover Christine Quinn. Oh, and Garcelle Beauvais had some stuff to say on Watch What Happens Live. And Jax Taylor's been talking about his Vanderpump Rules exit and some of his relationships. And Joe Winberg posted about Tom Schwartz, and Kyle Richards almost bought a house near Lisa Vanderpump, and, Erika Jane and Sutton Stracke are still going at it.
Sounds like a full plate. Where do we even begin?
Well, let's start with Andy Cohen, because there have been some rumblings about him, maybe even leaving Bravo, stepping down from some of his roles, potentially even Watch What Happens Live. There was all this talk about a big announcement coming in April, and some folks were connecting that to the legal stuff swirling around him and Bravo right now.
So what's the real story? Did he actually address any of this?
Yeah, he went on a SiriusXM show, and he basically just shut it all down.
Oh, so what did he say?
He said straight up, no announcement is coming. Those April rumors, totally unfounded. He did say that Bravo usually announces their, new shows and stuff at those industry upfronts in May.
Right. Those big presentations where the networks show off their upcoming schedules.
Yeah, exactly. So he's making it sound like standard operating procedure, not some, dramatic exit.
Smart move. Get ahead of the rumor mill.
Totally. He even made a joke about it. He said the big news was, I'm still on Twitter taking the abuse. So, classic Cohen deflection.
I mean, it does make you wonder how these rumors even start.
Right. But it's interesting, though. The person who initially reported this whole thing actually said she hopes he doesn't leave Watch What Happens Live.
Which just goes to show how important he is to the whole Bravo world, especially on that show. It's become such a central part of the fan experience. If he were to leave, it would be huge.
Absolutely. Okay, so moving on, Brandy Glanville, she's back on OnlyFans.
Not really a surprise.
And she's selling some of her old Real Housewives of Beverly Hills outfits on eBay.
Yeah, that's a pretty common move for reality stars. After they've been on a show, they've got this built-in fan base, and they try to, capitalize on it in different ways. And in Brandy's case, she's been pretty upfront about some of her struggles, financially and health-wise.
Yeah, she said she hasn't been able to afford certain treatments, and she made the OnlyFans announcement on Instagram stories hinting at more exclusive content and more direct interaction with her followers. And then the eBay thing came out.
Did she actually confirm those were outfits from the show?
Oh, yeah, she did. And she said she needed the money for her health issues, and she was pretty open about that. And she said it was hard emotionally to keep those clothes around. She even mentioned that she's been living off her savings for a while now.
It's kind of sad. But then again, some of those items are going for hundreds of dollars, even over $1,000. Shows you how much people are invested in these personalities and their, on-screen looks.
For sure. Okay, so this is a tougher one. Christine Quinn from Selling Sunset. She's been sharing some pretty intense details about her marriage and divorce.
Yeah, it sounds really difficult. She described her marriage to Christian Richard as traumatic. She's alleging that he was controlling, even saying he physically prevented her from leaving their home at times. Those are some pretty serious accusations.
And she did an interview where she said she's only now feeling ready to talk about everything that happened.
So what kind of things is she talking about?
Well, she mentioned having a protective order against him, which she claims he violated repeatedly by coming back to their property. And there's this one incident where she says he lied under her car to stop her from going to work.
Wow, that's extreme.
And she says he would lock the gates to keep her from leaving and that kind of thing.
So basically, he was trying to restrict her movements and control her.
Yeah, exactly. And it wasn't just that. She said she had to stay in hotels, even couch surf sometimes, because of his actions. And get this, she claims he took control of her phone number and locked her out of her bank accounts, credit cards, even her email.
That's a nightmare.
I know, right? She said she was hacked out of her entire life. It's a pretty powerful statement.
And what about him? Has he responded to any of this?
Nothing. Silence. Which I guess just reinforces her perspective on things.
Okay, let's talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yep.
Garcelle Beauvais was on Watch What Happens Live, and she had some things to say about Erika Jane.
She did not hold back. Andy Cohen brought up that comment Erika made about Garcelle's dating life, and Garcelle didn't let it slide, especially in the after show. Oh, and she also made a remark about marrying for love, not money.
I bet everyone saw that as a dig at Erika's previous marriage.
Totally. And she didn't stop there. She even asked whatever happened to the earrings.
Oh, right. Those expensive earrings that Erika had to return as part of her ex-husband's bankruptcy case.
Yeah. Definitely some tension there. Garcelle also had some thoughts about other cast members. She questioned Doric Kemsley's accent, And she told Kyle Richards that they needed to have a real talk about something, probably Kyle's relationship with Morgan Wade.
Seems like Garcelle's not afraid to stir the pot a little bit.
Yo. She even weighed in on Sutton Stracke's apology to Dorrit. She thought it seemed sincere, but said Sutton tends to undermine her own apologies.
That's an interesting observation.
And she said Sutton cares way too much about what Kyle thinks of her.
I mean, that's a pretty common dynamic on these shows, the whole approval-seeking thing.
Totally. Garcelle also said that she thinks Kyle owes the group more clarity about Morgan Wade, which suggests there's some disagreement about that.
And did she say anything else about Kyle?
Yeah, she said watching Kyle interact with her estranged husband was hard to watch, and that she doesn't think they're going to get back together.
That's a whole other layer to that story.
Right. Oh, and she also talked about some stuff from the Real Housewives of Potomac. She gave her take on that situation with Stacey Rush, and she commented on Karen Huger's DUIs.
Wait, Karen Huger had multiple DUIs?
Yeah, apparently so. Garcelle was surprised, too. It's amazing how these reality stars are always keeping up with what's going on in other franchises.
It is a whole interconnected world.
Yeah.
But back to Garcelle and Erika. I feel like that's a pretty significant rift.
I think so, too. Okay, let's talk about Jax Taylor. He's been doing some reflecting on his past relationships, particularly with Beau Clark and Stassi Schroeder. You know, after he backed out of their wedding in Italy at the last minute.
Yeah, that was a pretty big deal. So what's he saying now?
Well, he admitted that he's still hesitant to reach out to Beau, even after almost 3 years.
I can't imagine that's an easy situation.
No, not at all. He said he doesn't think Beau wants to see him, which, makes him sad, especially as they're all getting older. He did say that Stassi's been nice when they've run into each other.
So some progress there, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. He knows Stassi still talks to Brittany, his, estranged wife. But it sounds like things are still pretty strained with Beau. He's tried to reach out through mutual friends, asking them to tell Beau that he misses him and wants him to come to his bar, but no dice.
Has he apologized to Beau directly?
Yeah, he said he has and that he sent money, but I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's enough to repair the friendship. He did admit that it was his fault, the whole wedding thing. Apparently, he told a mutual friend he wasn't going before he told Beau directly, which made it worse.
Yeah, that's not a good look.
He knows that. But here's a twist. He actually tried to get Beau and Stassi to join The Valley, that Vanderpump Rules spinoff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently he asked them multiple times, but it didn't happen, and he seems to regret that.
That's kind of sad, actually. It sounds like he does still care about those friendships, even though things went south.
It does, yeah. And he also talked about his exit from Vanderpump Rules. He said he had some diva moments toward the end.
What, like what?
Well, he gave this example of refusing to film at the beach in Malibu. He thought they could just shoot the same scene closer to home, at a park.
That does sound a little diva-ish.
He knows it. He even called it a diva moment. And he was adamant. He said, I wasn't doing it.
Well, that's probably not what the producers wanted to hear.
Definitely not. And apparently he was trying to get other cast members not to film certain things, and it sounds like Bravo was just over it. He even admitted to, micromanaging production, and he said he thinks they'd just had enough.
I mean, that gives you some insight into why reality stars leave these shows, right? It's not always about the drama with other cast members. Sometimes it's about the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Exactly. Okay, shifting gears to another Vanderpump Rules alum, Jo Wenberg. She posted about Tom Schwartz on Instagram.
Didn't they have some kind of undefined thing going on?
Yeah, it was never really clear. Remember, she hinted at a secret romance while they were filming, but Tom didn't want to put a label on it, especially after he and Katie split.
Right, right. So what did this post say?
Well, she shared this video compilation of intimate moments between them and said she's missing him. And this comes right after Tom confirmed that he's single again.
So is she hinting at wanting to get back together?
Maybe. I mean, after their whatever it was kind of fizzled out, she kept talking about him and she seemed really sad about it. Some fans thought it was a little intense, especially since Tom was seen with other people.
Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in.
Totally. But now that he's officially single again, maybe she's hoping for a second chance.
What was in the video?
It was a bunch of random clips, them walking together, Tom sleeping on a couch, him messing with a wind chime. There's this one where he's got his arm around her and they're posing with his dog. Just casual, personal stuff.
It's interesting that she'd share that now after everything.
It is, and it kind of contradicts what Tom was saying before. He'd called her a badass hairstylist and a beautiful soul, but insisted they weren't living together or anything.
And he said he wasn't ready for a serious relationship so soon after his divorce.
Exactly. But Joe's post definitely suggests a different perspective on what they had.
This is what I love about reality TV. You never really know the full story.
Totally. Okay, two more quick updates. Kyle Richards apparently almost bought a house near Lisa Vanderpump.
Wait, really? That's juicy.
Yeah, can you imagine? She looked at the six-bedroom house in Beverly Hills a bunch of times with her daughters. It's a pretty fancy place, actually. Some celebrities have lived there before.
Oh, wow. So what happened? Why didn't she buy it?
It ended up selling to someone else, and when Lisa Vanderpump was asked about it, she said it was a shame her offer wasn't accepted because she'd finally be able to move into Beverly Hills.
Ouch. That's a dig at Kyle living in Encino, right?
Totally.
So they're still throwing shade at each other.
It seems like it. But Kyle's people are saying she never actually made an offer because she was worried about the fire risk in the area, so who knows what really happened.
I guess we'll never know the full story. What about Erika and Sutton? Are they still feuding?
Oh yeah, big time. Erika's still saying Sutton's mean, that she can't take it when people come at her.
What's her evidence?
She mentioned some instances where she felt Sutton was unkind, not just to her, but to Kyle and Dorrit, too. She thinks Sutton isn't genuine, that she goes after people when they're down. She even brought up that time when Sutton offered to lend her money, like it was some kind of proof that she's fake.
Wow. It's getting pretty personal.
Yeah, and Sutton's not backing down either. She called Erika mean and even referenced the whole Thomas Girardi thing, asking, "What about you and boats makes you so mean?"
Oh, snap. That's a low blow.
Right. And she brought up the victims of Girardi's alleged fraud, too. Like she's trying to contrast herself with Erika, make herself seem more empathetic.
It's a pretty bold move.
It is. So, yeah, it seems like they're not going to be besties anytime soon. But here's the thing. They've both said that they've had, like, fleeting moments where they actually thought well of each other. Yeah, but those moments are always overshadowed by the drama. Erika even said their relationship could be transactional. She wants more consistency.
That's a good word for it. Transactional. You're right. You never really know the whole story. And these friendships are so unpredictable.
Exactly. And, that's what keeps us coming back for more.
Totally.
So what do you think all of this says about reality TV? I mean, we've got people trying to rebuild their lives, airing their dirty laundry, clinging to fame, forming and breaking alliances, and always looking for that next opportunity. It's fascinating, isn't it?
It is. It's like holding up a mirror to, well, maybe not all of society, but definitely a certain segment of it. And it makes you think, what would it be like to have your life play out so publicly, with cameras capturing every triumph and every meltdown? Would you thrive or would you crumble? It's a question worth pondering.
Deep, man. Deep.
Well, that's what we do here. We dive deep.
Exactly.